We haven't talked about the 2022 NBA draft since the start of the season, and because of how much has changed, it feels like a good time to do a midseason mock, and man, should this be interesting. There's a lot going on in the NBA right now. The NBA trade deadline is tomorrow, so you guys already know I'm going to be breaking it down for you guys, so trust me, you want to be subscribed with notifications on. Let's go for 4 likes on today's video, and let's get into this. Today's video is sponsored by PrizePicks, a player prop site that's legal in most US states. Usually, we talk about basketball on PrizePicks, but today, we're focusing on the big football game this Sunday. I'm really excited about the game, so I thought it'd be fun to do an entry with y'all. I'm going to be taking the over on Jamar Chase rushing yards at 3.5, really hoping for a jet sweep. I'm going to be taking the over on T. Higgins receiving yards, thinking that a lot of Ramsey's attention will be on Jamar Chase. I'm also going to be taking the over on Cooper Kupp receptions at 8. And lastly, Odell Beckham, longest reception of 23 yards. If all this hits, my $20 entry becomes $200. They also have a pretty awesome promo going on if you use my code JimmerRange when you sign up. If you place an entry on the game and Joe Burrow throws at least 1 yard, I know that's a tough task, but if he can pull it off, you're going to win $50. If any of this sounds interesting, check out PrizePicks with a link in the description below. Use code JimmerRange. Thank you, PrizePicks, for sponsoring today's video. Right now, the worst record in the league is currently in the hands of the Orlando Magic, and because we're going to be going based on standings for the order in this video, they're going to have the number 1 pick. Going into the year, I truly thought Paolo Banchero was a lock to be the top selection, and he wasn't going to let go of that spot, similarly to what we saw with Cade Cunningham a season ago, but things have changed. There's no question that he's still been super impressive, and he's going to be a top pick in this draft, but we've just seen some guys fly up the board, and we've got a new top selection. Right now, it feels like that is Jabari Smith, 6'11" freshman power forward out of Auburn. Now, going into the year, he was looked at as a likely top selection, being the 6th overall recruit in the country, but most weren't putting him in the same conversation with guys like Banchero. This year, he's averaging 15 points and 7 rebounds, shooting 40% from 3 on over 5 attempts a game. Right now, he reminds me a lot of Jaren Jackson Jr. coming out of college. Offensively, he also really reminds me of Summer League Kyle Kuzma, as funny as that sounds. He's extremely coordinated, well-rounded, the defense doesn't seem to be a question. It's his ceilingless offensive game that has so many scouts obsessed. Don't be confused by him being listed as a power forward. He's better with the ball in his hands than most wings in this draft. He can take the ball coast to coast with ease, take players off the dribble, and obviously, considering his elite 3-point efficiency, is knocked down from long range. It's going to be interesting to see how he can close out the season, especially with Auburn in a pretty good position to make a run. The 2nd overall pick belongs to the Detroit Pistons, and they're going to be going with Gonzaga 7-footer Chet Holmgren. At the start of the season, I was a skeptic of him as a prospect, but things have changed over time. He's averaging 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 3.4 blocks a game, shooting 64% from the field and 46% from 3. Just think about that for a second. He's a 7-footer, averaging over 3 blocks a game while shooting elite efficiency everywhere on the court. I don't think there's a ton of upside for him to be some super high volume scorer at the NBA level, but that doesn't have to be the case for him to be an amazing player. The big concern coming into the season, and even today, is his frame. It's not often you see a sub 200 pound center, especially one that's 7 feet tall. But this is not the early 2000s anymore. Yes, we still have physically opposing great bigs in this league. Joel Embiid might be the best example, but for every guy like that, you've gotten Evan Mobley. Some of the top bigs in the league today, such as Anthony Davis and Rudy Gobert, got drafted just barely over the 200-pound mark. Holmgren won't remain the weight of a chunky middle schooler, and even if he does, it still might not be a deal breaker. It's hard to find a prospect with such few flaws, and I'm really excited to see how it translates to the NBA level. The Rockets are here at 3, and they take advantage of the unforeseen opportunity to get Paolo Banchero. Banchero this season is averaging 17 points and 8 rebounds, shooting 49% from the field and 32% from 3. It was clear why he came into the season as a favorite to go number 1. He's 6'10", 250 pounds, extremely NBA ready with the skill and athleticism to play practically every position on the court. While most of that remains, some concerns have creeped up. The defense hasn't been where scouts expected, given the tools he has to absolutely dominate on that end. His ability beyond the arc has been a little bit underwhelming. I say this, but let me still make it very clear, he's still an elite prospect in this draft, and I truly don't think anyone touches his upside, making him an easy selection for the Rockets here at 3. The Thunder have the 4th overall pick, and they're going to be going with one of the biggest risers in the draft so far, Jaden Ivey, sophomore shooting guard out of Purdue. After his freshman season, there was a lot of excitement for him due to his athleticism, physical profile, sitting at 6'4" with a 6'10" wingspan, and defensive versatility, but the consensus was that he had a long ways to go on the offensive side. So considering that he was getting draft attention, shooting less than 40% from the field and 26% from 3, think about how crazy it is that this season he's gone to 17 points, 5 rebounds and 3 assists a game, shooting 48% from the field and 41% from 3 on 5 attempts a game. He's easily one of the most interesting players in this draft, and as a Thunder fan, I'd be more than pleased with how this mock has played out so far. The Pacers are at 5, and they take another guy absolutely flying up the board, and that's Johnny Davis, 6'5" shooting guard from Wisconsin. After averaging just 7 points a game as a freshman, this year he's gone to 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists a game. Like Ivy, he's getting a ton of attention for his defense, using his long arms to his advantage to dominate in the passing lanes. He doesn't jump off the paper as an athlete, but he's still a solid shot creator, evidenced by his insane jump in volume this season. He can play off ball and come in the league as a 3-and-D wing, but there's no question the upside is much higher than that. Players like him really interest me in the draft. While it's always fun to look at what a player's doing right now, I think we can get a lot from what a player's done in the past. Seeing this much improvement year over year gets you thinking about just how different of a player he could be in 1, 3, even 10 years from now. With the Pacers trading for Tyrese Haliburton, literally as I'm recording this, I think with him, Davis, and Duarte, they would really be building something special. The 6th overall pick is going to be in the hands of the other team in that trade we just mentioned, the Sacramento Kings. It was definitely an odd decision to make that trade in my opinion, but we're going to be talking about that a lot more later. Here, they're going to be going with Duke forward AJ Griffin. Now his numbers are going to jump off the paper. He's averaging less than 10 points a game, but there's a lot more to the story. He came into his freshman season at Duke after missing most of his junior and senior seasons in high school due to various knee and ankle injuries. It took him a while to really ramp up his role in this team. Since stepping into a bigger role, he's averaging 13 points and 4 rebounds, shooting 56% from the field and 53% from 3. Every year, we've got a guy like this. Super strong, super athletic, 6'7", 7-foot wingspan frame that carries them to a top spot in the draft. But most of the time, that player isn't shooting with elite 3-point efficiency. But I think what's so interesting about him going forward is I don't think he's close to that jump out of the gym athlete he was early on in high school. It seems, even as the season has gone on, it's coming back more and more. As the athleticism continues to return, we could be dealing with a scary prospect that it wouldn't shock me to see go as a top 5 selection when it's all said and done. For the rest of the lottery picks, we're going to go a little bit rapid fire. The Spurs are at 7, they get another sophomore breaking out, Iowa power forward Keegan Murray. This year he's averaging 22 points, 9 rebounds and 2 blocks, shooting 55% from the field and 35% from 3. He's not huge, he stands at 6'8", but you wouldn't notice that at all when watching him. He's super physical on both ends. He's another big adapting to the modern game, well coordinated and focused on making floor spacing one of his strengths. The Blazers are at 8. They've been blowing things up lately, making it really up in the air what direction they would go in this draft. Right now, I've got them going with possibly the top point guard in this class, Ty Washington, who as a freshman at Kentucky has averaged 13 points and 4 assists on pretty solid efficiency. He's 6'3" with a 6'9" wingspan, with a really special offensive game. He's one of those guys that strengths are hard to put into words. It's not one thing that he excels at. His game is just so smooth. He's very solid shooting off the dribble, especially in the mid-range. He also has an incredible floater game, which typically translates super well to the next level. There isn't a clear flaw, which sets him above the rest in what's an overall weak point guard class. The 9th overall pick belongs to the Pelicans, and this is really the year of the sophomore, as they're going with Arizona 6'7" wing Benedict Mathurin, another wing with really long arms, a ton of upside, especially on the offensive side, as this year he's gone to 17 points, shooting 36% from 3. Last season, that was 42% from 3, still on solid volume. I've got a strong feeling there's going to be a ton of really good players coming out of this class. Another wing is coming off the board at 10. The Knicks are going with Kendall Brown out of Baylor. This year he's averaging 10 points, shooting 63% from the field. Again, another super athletic wing that has scouts intrigued about his potential to dominate on the defensive end while living above the rim on the other. 11 is the Wizards, and they're going to be going with easily the biggest faller so far, Jaden Hardy. Most mocks have him going much lower than this, but I think the talent is just still too much to pass on. Going into the season, he was looked at as a likely top 3 selection, but this year, playing for the G League Ignite, while he's averaged over 17 points a game, his efficiency struggles, shooting 35% from the field and 27% from 3, have sent him flying down the board. 12 is the Hawks, who are going with another faller, Patrick Baldwin Jr. There was a lot of excitement coming out of high school with his combination of size and ball in the hands ability, but this year, playing for Milwaukee, he shot just 35% from the field and 28% from 3, really putting a damper on the excitement, but the talent will likely bail him out. 13 is the Grizzlies via the Lakers, and they're going to be going with one of the top centers in the class, getting Jalen Duren out of Memphis. So in this scenario, he won't have to go too far. He's been a dominant defender this season, averaging 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks a game. Lastly, we've got the Charlotte Hornets going with another, this is kind of crazy at this point, impressive sophomore wing. This time out of LSU, Tari Eason. 6'8", super promising on the defensive end. Have you heard that before? That's gone from 7 points a season ago to now 16, 7, and almost 2 steals a game. But that's it for you guys. You guys tell me your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.